Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Glad to have you here. Today we have a 2v2 Dwarves and Empire versus Chaos and Beastmen. I'm leading the Dwarves in this battle. You can see I have a pretty elite center formation. I've got two Longbeards with great weapons, Norgrimling's Ironbreakers, a Rune Lord, and the Shield Bearers, who are a pretty cool defensive unit. They do have this Durek Karen, who gives 10% physical resistance, 10% missile resistance. And so they're going to be helping buff these Norgrimling's Ironbreakers, who are kind of my center line. And then the Rune Lord is going to be buffing all three of my expensive units. Out to the flanks, I do have two units of Dwarf Warriors with great weapons. I have two cannons getting ready to fire, and of course the Grudge Thrower. I've got the Grumbling Guard over here. I've got some Longbeards with great weapons over here. The Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, which is a must-bring against the Beastmen. And then I've got some Oldar's Raiders and some Miners with Blasting Charges just because I had some extra cash. And then I really wanted to make these guys work, so I brought some Iron Drakes with Trollhammer Torpedoes for some anti-large duty, as well as two units of Thunderers. Over here you can see my ally has brought three great cannons. He's brought two units of Imperial Foot, 5 units of Great Swords, and then he's got 2 units of Sigmarite Disciples over here, led by this Warrior Priest. And he's got Karl Franz on the ground, ready to lay a smacking. And he does have a Bright Wizard. Yes. So over here you can see the Chaos player. He's got some Chaos Warriors with great weapons. Chaos Warriors, just a big old line of Chaos Warriors. He's got some Dragon Ogres. Archaon the Everchosen, he's got 2 units of Chaos Knights. And that's about it. The Beastman player has this Feral Manticore. He's got a huge main line of Gore Herds. He's got some Corn Gores in the back. 2 units of Slan Gores out on each side. 2 units of Minotaurs with shields and a Gore Bull in the very back. I like this, bringing him in the very back. Prevents me from just opening fire on him right as the lines engage. And then he's got Morgur here, of course, who is the meta pick. And you can see that Eye of Morspeleb Cygor is just taking a ton of damage. And he does have this Bracement of Death as well. So, just one thing to talk about here. I think this is a decent build for going up against a Chaos Beastman roster. You don't really know what you're going to be facing. Got a ton of great swords. This is just like a run in, smack them down, use these cannons to kill some cav kind of thing. But you can see these Sigmarite Disciples over here are out on their own on the side. And like the Shield Bearers, they do have that AoE buff. They have this Shield of Faith, which gives plus 10% damage resistance. So if instead of having these guys out on the flank, you put one right here and one right here, and then you split your Imperial Foot as kind of flanking forces, it would give you a much more balanced army that lets you kind of use your units however best they're used. It would have Imperial Foot over here to guard from mirror charges, and it would make sure that that physical resistance buff is spreading to as many things as possible. And then I would have probably just had this Warrior Priest running in the middle here. But yeah, anyway, so you can see the Great Cannons are firing. The best thing for these guys, it would be definitely to target those Chaos Knights, because he really doesn't have that much anti-large right now. So you can see, except for these Imperial Foot, but the Chaos player brought enough infantry that they can probably get around and just kind of dodge, but we'll see how it goes. You can see my cannons are opening fire. I have one just trying to stun that Cygor. I have one firing at these Corn Gores, and then I have the Grudge Thrower firing over here at these Corn Gores. So trying to spread my damage on what I view as the kind of most dangerous units. But the Minotaurs might have been a decent choice as well. So we'll get this started here. You can see these cannons, just so cool. They did get a buff in the most recent patch, I think, especially in vanilla. They got a accuracy increase. You can see they're just opening fire. This is the coolest thing about the dwarves. It's nice to just be able to sit and wait. You can see the Grudge Thrower, of course, doing very well, putting some nice damage down on some very elite units. See, my Thunderers are opening fire. And I saw the Beastman player was kind of sending some troops this way. You can see here he's got the Imperial Foot on these Dragon Ogres, which is a nice matchup. But you can see that purple Son of Zarius did do a number on these great swords. But it looks like they stopped just before their charge, which is really sad. But you can see these guys are going to be getting their charges off. You can see these Sigmarite Disciples, just because there's no Imperial Foot out on this side, you can see these Knights of the Realm, these Chaos Knights just have so much of a free reign here on this back line, which is not what you want, because this is a very terrifying unit. They could also come over here and hit these great cannons, but these are expensive units. But you can see here, nice use of this Imperial Foot, blocking this guy. You can see there is some Imperial Foot going up against these Goreherd. You can see those cannons doing some nice damage here. Just press play. You can see my handgunners now switching to the important target. Goreherd are getting lit up. These Thunderers are going to start firing at these Corn Gores while I have the chance. Trying to put any damage down on them as early as I can. See, I have Morslave not taking that much damage, actually. You can see these Thunderers are lining up for a shot as well. Just because they stopped a little bit for my line, so got a nice free volley there. And over here, yeah, you can see these Chaos Knights got a nice rear charge here on these Great Swords. And then this other one, you can see how quickly they shut down that Sigmarite Disciple with that just epic rear charge. Sorry, I missed that one. You can see over here, nice Lord of the Storm is going to be coming down. Really, let's see how much damage it does to this Imperial Foot. Oh, no. Took out like 6 models, which is pretty good. You can see these Minotaurs with shields are getting shot at, but they do have those shields, so they're blocking half the shots. You can see the Gorebull did push through, and I'm using the Trollhammer torpedoes to kind of take him down really quick. You can see Morgur smash through the middle. And you can see I did kind of win out on this side, but these Dwarf Warriors are kind of getting crushed. And my Dwarf Warriors over here are just swarmed by a ton of Goreherd. You can see I've got some nice stuff over here, but you can see these Slaugh Gores are coming in, and they're going to just lay a smacking on these Longbeards with great weapons. You can see these Miners with blasting charges waiting in the flanks, getting ready. You can see I still do kind of have this core of Ironbreakers and Rune Lord. So hopefully they are able to get over here on these Goreherds pretty soon. You can see these Thunderers are struggling so much to take down these Minotaurs. But you can see over here, yeah, the Great Sword line is getting cleaned up. The Chaos Knights just systematically going through. You can see Karl Franz over here is dueling Archaon with 2 Imperial Foot. It's a pretty cool scene. Hope I got him while he was up in the air. He just like tripped over himself. Oh, Karl Franz. But you can see over here, these guys are kind of holding out, but they're not doing very much damage. Chaos Knights over here getting ready to shut these guys down. You can see he's dropping Feral Manticores into my cannons to shut them down as well. And these Minotaurs finally broke through. So I've got my Ulthar's Raiders throwing at these guys. I've got my Trollhammer torpedoes, I think, firing at these Minotaurs in here. So you can see this is going pretty well. But he's going to start bringing out those Chaos Spawn, which is going to be very hard for me to counter. Nice Lord of the Storm there. Coming down. Oh, that's right. The Rune Lord actually in this mod has Lord of the Storm. So I brought it over here to try and help these poor Longbeards. I even brought some Dwarf Warriors from in reserve. See, my Thunderers did rout these guys. So they're going to be starting to fire into the sides of these Slangors. But you can see Chaos is coming. And then here in the middle I have 1 mostly. But Morgur's still around. He's got some Minotaurs. But most importantly, he's got Chaos Spawn. Which is pretty terrifying for me. And so you can see my kind of core pocket is trying to deal with Morgur. My Longbeards with great weapons are going to be fighting these Goreherd. You can see these Thunderers doing a decent amount of damage here. These Slangors actually aren't that armored. So a lot of that damage is not ideal. Quarrelers would be a little bit better. Then over here you can see some spells coming down, some Chaos Knights coming in to shut down my cannons. Luckily they've used a lot of their ammo already. But yeah, you can see my Ulthar's Raiders have run out of ammo, so I'm going to be sending them over there. See, I'm trying really hard to kill that Cygor because I knew I was kind of blobbing here. So I figured my cannons could kill that thing, but they're just really not able to. And you can see Morgar here. I'm trying to chase him and finish him, but my stuff keeps getting pulled over here to this Feral Manticore, and it just allows him to just run away. Which is not good for me, because you can see a lot of this stuff, if I could just kill Morgar, would route off forever. But he's just going to kind of flee, so I'm going to have to recommit to something I know I can kill, which is this Feral Manticore. But you can see there, nice targeting of his staff on my Trollhammer torpedoes that were pretty hurt. So this is the danger with the dwarves. It's so easy to just summon these Manticores in your back line, kind of using those weak dwarf warriors. And you can see now the battle is kind of turning against me. My dwarf warriors are failing to these kind of large targets that they no longer have the ability to kill. And you can see I'm chasing Morgar around. I'm trying desperately to get him into a fight, but he's just going to keep pulling out. Over here you can see my Thunderers are helping to kill these Chaos Spawn, but not the best angle for me. You can see half the unit is not firing, which is definitely sad. Then over here you can see, I think I cast the Lord of the Storm, so trying my best to deal with this stuff. But you can see there's a lot coming. Is Karl Franz still around? No, you can see Karl Franz fleeing off the battlefield. But you can see I've done some nice damage to this Manticore. Now I just got to go finish off Morgar, so you can see I'm bringing in my core squad, my Nord Grimlings, my Shield Bearers, and my Rune Lord to come try and crush my side so I can turn and fight these guys. But there's just so much regeneration everywhere that it's really hard to put these guys down. You can see there my Master Rune of Wrath and Ruin made sure those Khorngors shattered. You can see that Cygor is sadly back in action. You can see my Thunderers here have a nice angle on these Chaos Knights, but again, they just have those silver shields, and he did pull them out to charge me, so these Thunderers are out for the count with the armor-piercing damage. Yeah, you can see, don't have too much left. My Warriors of Dragonfire Pass are laying down a nice smackdown. Hoping for some friendly fire from the rocks there. You can see my Grumbling Guard over here. Help trying to take out this stuff with their anti-large bonus and their armor piercing. It's a pretty good situation for them. You can see Morgar here is just starting to... It looks like combat's even. You can see my Rune Lord kind of waddling over to him. And with the 10% physical resistance, and then he has another 40% physical resistance from that Rune Lord damage negation. You can see I dropped a Lord of the Storm on stuff, and you can see a giant flame storm coming down. So really the focal point of magic here, even a flame head. Looks like this is just going to come back through and damage their own units. But they're kind of large targets, so it's not going to do too much. You can see piercing bolts of burning dropping all their fire spells here. And it is doing a number. You can see the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass route, the miners are routing. I'm trying desperately to kill Morgar, but his regeneration is just kind of too much. And he's got a decent amount of... Well, he's got 16 armor, so I guess he doesn't have very much armor. But you can, my Rune Lord's trying his very best, as well as my Shield Bearers. You can see these full health unit of Chaos Warriors coming in. Cygor bullying some Dwarf Warriors who fled the battlefield. You can see now the balance of power, I'll flip this back on, has shifted quite significantly against me as I just try desperately to Lord Snipe this Morgar. And you can see over here, Chaos is going to try and let me duel Archaon. So you can see they're going to wait in the wings here for a little bit. And you can see doing some decent damage to the Chaos Warriors. You can see the Chaos Spawn slowly getting taken down. But there's just so much more coming. And to Archaon, you can see I see this nice block of troops and I'm like, perfect Lord of the Storm. So you can see they're doing a good chunk of damage. Not enough, though. You can see even Morgar is fleeing. So now I'm going to send these guys over here, try and delay try and stop him from getting Archaon out of here. And I think if I have any chance, it's got to be killing Archaon right here, right now, with my Iron Breakers and my Shield Bearers. It's the angry Dwarven magic. Archaon does not have armor piercing damage, so he shouldn't be the best, but you can see here, he's just, enough with that, he's going to swarm all his stuff in here. You can see dropping that Master Rune of Wrath and Ruin on this Chaos Warrior. So trying my best to target the healthiest units. You can see here, everything's just going to start routing. My Iron Breakers are gone. I managed to pop a barely in time stand your ground, because they do have army losses, I think. Not quite yet. But you can see doing a decent amount of damage to Archaon, though. This Rune Lord and his 12 Shield Bearers. Shield Bearers are kind of one of those units that, like, they don't really do that much damage. There's only 12 of them. They only have 100. And it's not armor piercing. But I just kind of wanted to give them a try. It's kind of like a supporting unit. You can see they're very tanky. They are almost full health. Immunity to psychology, magical attacks. All sorts of business. You can see another Lord of the Storm coming down. Getting some good kills. Looks like breaking those Chaos Warriors. But you can see, yeah, once the Rune Lord goes down, these guys are going to flee off the battlefield. As the Cygor comes down, lays a smacking. Yeah, and my poor ally had to take on a decent amount of a couple of the Beastmen units that tied up his Imperial Foot. And then that because his Imperial Foot were tied up fighting some of the guys I was fighting, it allowed those Chaos Knights to kind of do whatever they wanted to his backline. So that is kind of one of the dangers of 2v2s, is I did kind of let my ally here, Kairos, get double teamed a little bit, and that was definitely my bad. So you can see here, these guys got 139, which is pretty good. But a lot of this infantry just got crushed by the superior Chaos Infantry and Chaos Knights and stuff like that. Yeah, it's definitely difficult to trade infantry to infantry against Chaos. But you can see here my Dwarf Warriors did not do as well as I thought. I thought they'd do a little bit better against these kind of just regular stuff. You can see my Longbirds doing pretty well. My Shield Bearers only with 24 kills, which is not very good. But my Norgrimling's doing okay. The Goblobber always doing pretty well. And you can see all of my range stuff got a Chevron, and one of my Longbeards got a Chevron. You can see the Slangors doing very well. The Corngors kind of got targeted and shut down, and those Minotaurs as well doing very well. And if we go over here, yeah, you can see, look at these Chaos Knights. Oh, so much XP chevrons, almost over 200 kills on each of them, which was super awesome. These Dragon Ogres, though, nice use of these Imperial Foot here, shutting down those Dragon Ogres, which was very cool. Also very good kills on this one. And the Chosen. But anyways, great game to my opponents here, Phoenix Rising and Prattman, and GG to my ally Karos. And anyways, thanks so much for watching, guys. That's that.